In today's program, I delve into an old-school tea shop.
哇，这么奉生的哈！
Visit a farmstead, enjoy the relaxed pace of life out in the sticks.
嘿嘿，你看上钩了。
And pop into Zither books and relish the laid-back, bookish atmosphere.
What I love about this place is that downstairs you can read books and upstairs you can indulge in a bit of musical culture.
So why not join me as I experience Chiang Hai's relaxed pace of life?
Niche tourism means heading for lesser known, perhaps out of the way places where you can thoroughly immerse yourself in the local culture.
Chiang Hai, a major city located in the east of Hainan, is known the world over thanks to the Boao Forum for Asia.
What do you know about Chiang Hai? Perhaps you've only heard of the likes of Boao or Tanmen, but scratch the surface and you'll find a whole world of quaint towns and villages featuring tasty treats and amusing activities. Now let's go and see what's on offer.
My first stop here in Chiang Hai is the small town of Taiyang.
这边的话是一片大田洋，那如今大田洋上面竖立着一座巍峨耸立的巨魁塔，一塔一洋，也就是我们海洋镇名字的由来。
Among the lush coconut trees, the Jukway Tower stands tall at a height of 30 meters with 7 floors. The architecture of the tower in classic Tang Dynasty style looks simple but uncommon.
巨魁塔呢是始建于明朝万历33年，当时是由会同县的知县卢章兴建。据当时会同县志记载，卢章在兴建这座塔的时候，有一天晚上他就梦见一位身着青衣的男子站在塔尖说了这样一句话：“魁塔插天连甲地。”意思就是当这座塔建成了之后，在塔阳只要出去考试的人都会有命中榜首的意思。
Jukway Tower has become a landmark and a symbol of Taiyang, representing the strong feelings of the locals, as well as the deep nostalgia of those who have left the town to make a living.
来到塔阳呢，就免不了要来我们老式茶店品尝一下我们塔阳的特色美食。这边呢，也是我们塔阳很多人的童年，基本都是从早吃到晚的。
好，那必须尝一下，走。
The Old Market Tea Shop is located on a busy stretch of town. Crowds swell the shop every day. Li Xiuchun is the founder and proprietor of the tea shop.
听说咱们老式茶店的东西非常的好吃，闻起来特别的香啊！
真的也符合老百姓吃的东西
啊，我等不及了，我一定要品尝一下。
上点签。
哇，这么奉生的哈！
记着我们地方文化，这个是闭口，
开口笑，是不是很像你笑时候的样子？
外面脆，里面软，口感很好。
这个也比较好吃啊，这个是嘎丝，
小酥。
酸甜的哈。
对。
Taking tea and refreshments is a long-standing tradition among people in Hainan.
我们有句话叫做“不吃日倒不做工”。我们有午睡文化，那睡醒了之后，这边太阳还是比较毒辣的，适合去田头做工。
是。
那这个时候我们刚好来补充一些体力，下午再去好干活。那日倒就是代表我们这些茶点啦。
你们吃这个东西是我们50年代的东西，为了纪念前辈。 我们一定要把这个东西写好，
太棒了！那就是把这一部分的文化就传下来。
对，也是这样。你们来到这里要想写这个技术，我一定要把你们教好。我们把技术传给你们，也是我们的荣幸。
Throngs of people come to this tea shop for different things, but the most popular snack is, of course, the baked bun. Correspondingly, my apprenticeship starts with buns.
这个是白油搞的东西，
跟这个不一样。
不一样，还要肉心在里面，要分层的。
The outside layer of the baked buns is made of a mixture of high gluten flour, water, sugar, and eggs, while the butter is put inside to make them crispy on the outside and fluffy on the inside.
现在我们要放这个馅是吧？
这是白寿冬瓜糖、松、香料。
Rather like making baozi or Chinese stuffed buns and then fill it with stuffing.
You have to be careful about the force you use when you put this thing together, because if you pull it too hard, you do what I just did and pulled it to pieces. But if you're too limp-wristed about it, then it won't stick together. Seem not to be able to get the force quite right, but there we are. This one's apparently not bad, at least. That's what I think.
After having made the buns, they must be laid aside and left to rest for 2 hours before putting them into the oven. During the wait, I learn how to make a version of milk tea.
把茶叶放进去，
什么茶叶呢？
红茶，
很特别的味道。
你要浇来浇去的，味道拿出来啊，你来试一试。
哇，已经很浓了，你看，
对啊，
黑黑的。
Rich black tea paired with condensed milk makes a perfect chadi. What perfect timing, my baked buns are ready.
烤包新鲜出炉喽！
哇，真的
看师傅正在进行最后一道工序刷油，让它表面更有光泽，更好吃。
真的好香啊，能闻得到，好像是 the taste of home cooking。我能不能？
不行，我们塔阳呢每周都有琼剧表演，带上我们的烤包，听上我们的琼剧一起，才更有味道。
听起来不错。
走，我们打包过去。
A table of light bites and a verse or two of Cheongju, Hainan's traditional opera, is what locals in Taiyang take pleasure in on a daily basis.
边吃一下你自己烤的烤包吧，
哇，好香啊！
真的很好吃。
一咬进去，我能感觉到一层一层这样子。边吃这个，配上这个茶，边看这个琼剧，真的是一种非常深入的一个文化体验啊，是吧？
Taiyang is known as the home of Hainan opera, with generations of Cheongju masters hailing from here.
我带上的孩子们年纪很小啊，
他们都是我们从学校7岁开始就挑选出来，那我们提供这个舞台给他们，去历练他们的平时的表演，增加他们的表演经验，把我们琼剧文化传承下去，不愧为我们塔阳琼剧名伶之乡。那我们有这个舞台，丰富了我们本地居民的生活，也给外来旅游的人能够近距离的去感受我们的琼剧文化。
我现在就能感受到当地人民的这个幸福、快乐，还有惬意生活，真的。
The Chiang Hai municipality administers not only the town of Taiyang with its long history and rich culture, but also Wengen town with its impressive scenery.
The river Wengen is regarded as Chiang Hai's mother river. The little town of Wengen takes its name from the river that flows through it. Its lush grasses and verdant countryside are a real feast for the eyes.
Thanks to its favourable natural conditions, Wengen has become the perfect place for agricultural leisure parks.
我们这里的风景非常的美哈，只不过感觉有点偏僻哈。
我们这个地方是距离琼海市11公里的地方，想让繁忙城市中的工作的人员到这边有一个休闲度假的地方。
确实，刚到在这里，我这个心情就一下子好起来了。
In today's world, people hanker after a tranquil environment and pleasing scenery. Going fishing on this sparkling lake is a fine way to relax your body and mind.
为什么要选在这个位置开一个农庄呢？
最早就是一个产业为主、养殖种植的一个地方，就是随着这个城市发展吧，我们就把一部分作为休闲。
开这个农庄有没有带动的作用哈？
那肯定的，我们有20几个也是周边的农民在这里打工，
哦，就给他们一个额外的一个收入。
对对对，也帮我们解决很多的服务问题了。
哎，那是互利嘛。
对对对。
嘿，你看上钩了，哦，断了。
哎呀，慢慢来，慢慢来。
哇塞，哇天哪！啊，
哇，这么起码有3斤哦。
Here you can take your catch home and cook it yourself. Alternatively, you can do what I do and ask the farm's chef to cook it for you. While waiting, Chen Dingsheng shows me how to make the authentic country titbit,椰子粑。
椰子粑顾名思义，用比较老的椰子来做馅，粑呢就是用我们一个非常传统的一个糯米蒸出来以后，放这个地方会有几道工序来去完成它。
A stone mortar and a wooden mallet are used to pound the steamed glutinous rice repeatedly, making it even stickier. The process also helps to bring out the flavor and aroma of the glutinous rice.
哎，你用手
把它翻过去，
不就翻过来，
我看它慢慢再粘在一起。那要打它多久呢？
打到它成粑为止。
One man is in charge of pounding the rice, while the other is responsible for turning it round. Only with perfect timing can you make the perfect, mouth-watering rice cake.
来，我试一下。Well, my late mum used to complain that making the dinner was a lot of hard work. Well, mum, if you're listening, I invite you to come and have a go at this. This is really hard work, but I tell you, it is really making me appreciate the food that we have.
Unlike most other desserts, the coconut rice cake filling is actually on the outside.
哇，很有弹性啊，这个像橡胶一样嘛，真的是。
做好以后，你看，它就淋这个糖。
哇哦，像口香糖那种。 那种弹性度，我天哪！
这个把呢是我们琼海本地非常传统的一种习俗，我们在亲戚朋友啊家里搞房子啊，亲戚都送这个东西给他们，就是来表达一种心意。
明白。
就是说我们这种感情是像糯米一样有正力。
The coconut rice cake is popular not only because of its tastiness, but also because of the intimate bond it represents between you and your family and friends.
Look at this, a dinner table replete with Chiang Hai specialties, this sizable fish that I caught through my own efforts, and these coconut-flavoured, glutinous rice cakes made with my own sweat. It's lunchtime, let's tuck in.
好吗？我是这个
Very nice indeed.
烟呢，这样，哇 ，very good。
你可以，你的演技不错。哎 ，Treasure， 轻轻的这个 coconut flavor, oh, it's really good. I tell you, brown sugar and coconut, a winning combination. But it's not overpowering in terms of sweetness because the glutinous rice is really filling and bulky as well. They complement each other really well. 非常好。
先留一下肚子啊。你看，这是你钓上来的。
好骄傲。
这个农庄里面最特色的一个道菜就是糖醋鱼
，sweet and sour fish。
我们这个鱼呢，是1斤到2斤半，是出口到其他国家的。就是超过这么大，超过2斤半以后，我们给大家水钓。
When you work hard, you can provide for yourself. It is one of life's little pleasures, tasting food prepared by your own fair hand. Apart from making your own food here, the farm is home to an educational base for earthquake prevention and disaster reduction.
地球呢，主要是由3部分来构成的：地核、地幔还有地壳。地震是由于地核内部它会有岩浆，会有火山喷发，造成我们地幔呢有一个点，它突然的震动，然后通过横波传达到地壳的表面，从而去引发我们的一个地震。
Research on earthquakes in China goes back to ancient times.
这个呢，就是我们的张衡地动仪，它是对应着呢有8条龙和8个张着嘴的金蝉。8条龙对应的呢是8个方位：东西南北、东南西南、东北和西北。
它看起来这么精美啊，怎么看得出来？如果有地震嘛，那发生的话，
我们龙的嘴里面是有一个龙珠的，它呢只能判断一个大致的方位。如果哪个方位地震了，龙嘴里面的龙珠会吐到我们下面金蝉的嘴里。
好神奇哈！
我们摆这样一个模型的作用呢，就是在于激励我们的孩子和学生们、社会各界人士对我们科学啊、自然灾害的一个钻研的精神。
In order to combine theory and practice, an earthquake simulator has been set up.
地震呢，其实从3级到4.5级开始才算是一个有感的地震，所以我们就从4级开始体验，好吗？
可以。
准备好了吗？
Yes, I'm ready.
这是4级地震。
This is very obvious, this one.
先加级了哦。
天哪，这是5级啊！哇，这很明显呢。
那我们下一级。
Okay.
这是我们的6级地震。
Up and down is okay, but side to side is not okay. God, yeah, this is difficult. Come on, 再来一级吧。Oh, 7 on the Richter scale. This is bigger than I thought. To look at it probably doesn't look like much, but if you're standing on here, it's actually difficult to stand up straight. Come on then, number 8. 我还是跪下来呢。如果不扶手的话，这个是没办法站起来。我跟你说，那好 ，stop， 我活下来了。When it's very small, you really can't feel it that much at all. It's like being on a ship, a boat that's shaking back and forth on the waves. But when it gets really strong, it's honestly really difficult to stand up, and you have to hold on, and you certainly can't outrun it. 比如说7、8级的这种就发生的情况下，怎么逃生呢？
首先，它就不是一个很常见的现象，在我们中国。其实地震来的时候不要怕，我们找生命的三角区去躲起来就可以。等大地不再晃动了，你可以跑的时候，我们再跑到楼外面去找一个空旷的地方。
你说的这个三角
区
是什么概念？
像我们家庭呢，如果说小朋友的话，他是可以躲到桌子下面的。但是你看我们大人的话，可以在床边，然后即便墙掉下来了，我们也可以存活。
有道理，这种知识是一定要把握的。
On the banks of the River Wengen is located the historical commercial hub of Chiang Hai's main administrative center, Jiaji, the old quarter of Zither.
This street is not long at just 293 meters, but it evinces a distinct air of a bygone era.
The 600-year-old quarter of Zither has its origins in the beginning of the Ming dynasty. On both sides of the street, the older buildings stand out in sharp contrast against the more modern edifices.
And here we can see the juxtaposition between the new buildings, like the one behind me, and the old buildings, like this one here. They preserved these really well.
The most striking feature here is the winding alleyway paved with large bluestone slabs.
This old flagstone road has borne witness to the course of time. Worn smooth by countless feet and wheels, it bears the marks of history and the huge changes that have taken place here.
The hustle and bustle of the old street has long since disappeared. But as I make my way along the old, narrow road, taking in my surroundings, it appears to me that time has completely forgotten this place.
Coming to the end of the old street, something intriguing on my right-hand side has caught my eye, a delightful-looking bookshop called Zither, and I feel drawn inside to take a closer look. Let's go.
In a quiet corner, I stumble upon a bookshop. The atmosphere inside is very different from out.
在城市当中能够有这么惬意的一个小书，真的很难得哈。
是的，这总共有5000多本的书籍。
我看这边还有一些牌子，就写的是 No WiFi 哈，这是真的没有吗？
我们这里提供 WiFi 只是为了提示所有来七仔书房阅读的读者，把手机放下，静下心，好好的阅读。
Once in the shop, 4 prominent Chinese characters catch my eye.
目射耕读，
行则耕，雨则读。天气晴朗的时候呢，我们就在外面耕种；下雨的时候，就回到我们书屋读书。
An ideal bucolic life involves reading from nature's book.
你们这里的设计也非常的独特的哈，我看这边更偏于现代化，但是这边保留一些传统的东西。
我们书房是以七仔古街那边融为一体了。
看到这些就感觉很有历史感。
老房子盖房所有用的砖都是用这个砖的。
然后保留下来，
就是一个文化的传承，
很好。
If you are visiting from afar and cannot bring yourself to leave this educative milieu, then the guest rooms on the second floor could be just what you were looking for.
简爱，清晨之恋，还有挪威的森林。
这3个房间都是小说的名字命名的，跟我们西仔书房的文化息息相结合。
Despite only having 3 rooms for rent, each one is replete with books, not to mention its own quirks.
有这么一句话，要么旅行，要么读书。我们把2者相结合，又能旅行又能读书，
很不错的一个概念，可以让旅行者放松他的心灵。
Staying in this humble abode with books at one's fingertips and rustic wooden furniture all around gives the room a modest historical charm.
这床呢是由船木去做的，以前这里是个码头嘛，是用船去运载载物，剩下的船呢制作成了床。
就是跟万泉河有一个回应，而且我看你们这个办公桌也是用船木做的吧？
对，这是船木的一个边角料，
承载当地的历史哈。
Zither Bookshop is not only a reading room, it is also a place of culture. Every week, Chinese Zither classes are held, open to foreign and domestic tourists, which pass on aspects of China's traditional culture.
古筝它有3200多年的历史了，所以它叫古筝。在战国时期呢，最为盛行，也叫秦筝。古筝呢，它的音阶是中国的5声调式，宫商角徵羽。
The Chinese zither is to the Chinese as the piano is to Europeans. The ancient Chinese pentatonic scale consists of only 5 notes: do, re, mi, sol, la.
古筝有21根琴弦，有绿色和白色。像钢琴有黑键和白键，所以它这是以一组来区分开来的。我们从这个琴弦开始，哆、re、mi、sol、la。好的。
Having understood the musical scale, it is now time to learn how to pluck it.
这个叫古筝的筝码，我们在筝码的右边来弹琴，这里的声音是最亮的，这里的声音是比较柔和的，然后左边你可以对比一下两边的声音有什么不一样。这边的声音是不规则的。
Confident of having mastered the basics, the teacher chooses a tune, a traditional Chinese number, for me to learn.
弹一首中国武打片中最有名的一首曲子，所以要有男孩子的气概，你要以武侠的那种心态来弹这首曲子。
你教我一个很霸气的曲子。
很霸气的，真的很霸气的。
This haughty-sounding piece is entitled Laughter at Sea.
我们的手型是像握着一个鸡蛋，是圆的啊，放松放松。好，开始。对的，接着第2句，看啊。
Laughter at Sea is an ingenious arrangement of the 5 traditional notes, creating a lively, catchy melody. The song embodies deep traditions of Chinese chivalry and should be played naturally and freely.
Miss He has just taught me a classic Chinese Zither tune, and I'm gonna give it a go now. Watch and learn, okay?
对，好很多。这次真的很棒，
够霸气吗？
够霸气，很好。
Thank you. Well, that was my first lesson on a traditional Chinese zither, one of the oldest instruments in China with over 3,000 years of history. It's very challenging to play. What I love about this place is that downstairs you can read books, you can read the literature, and upstairs you can indulge in a bit of musical culture. Couldn't get better than that.
Here you can cast your mobile telephone aside and immerse your mind and body in this literary world steeped in culture. You are also welcome to write your own little composition.
Well, I've been to Chiang Hai a lot of times, but I never thought I'd have a time quite as I've had today. I've had 3 very different experiences in 3 very different towns, and all of them have taught me a lot about local Hainan culture. So I'd encourage all of you to look into niche tourism here in Hainan. I promise you won't be disappointed.
Taking tea in Taiyang, enjoying the pastoral in Wengen, and becoming a bookworm in Jiaji. They may be somewhat off the beaten track, but then that is precisely their appeal. Only after slowing the tempo can you truly sample local culture. Are you ready to take a trip that might not be life-changing, but will certainly change the way you view Hainan?
这里是海南卫视。